Welcome back everyone. For today's daily match I picked up the first game out of a new series that I took from MLG Dallas. It's gonna be a best out of 3 and well, I've been checking the replays. There are several hundred replays taken from MLG Dallas. Huge event. I'm actually quite impressed with the size of it, especially attending to the fact that the game is fairly recent, like the official release was like 3 or 4 months ago, and there's already a big industry, big events around it, so pretty good news for all the esport fans, obviously. And on this situation here, we're gonna have a nice face-off. I'm hoping for a very intense game, because it's a face-off between the red Protoss here, KIWIKaKI, a member of Root Gaming, and it appears that he's already stretching outside of his base. Yeah, pylon going down on his natural expo. KIWIKaKI might have some plans to wall off this place around here. From what I can see, I mean, he already has his pylon outside, means that he's gonna start setting some buildings outside of his main base. Kind of a risky move for a Protoss player, but it might pay off, and I'm pretty sure that KIWIKaKI has a plan behind it. And latest news about KIWIKaKI, rumor has it that he'll be going to the GSL, which is pretty awesome. We know that Huck is already going as well to represent Team Liquid, and the blue Zerg player here, LiquidRet, it's also going for GSL. He's gonna move into Korea and play there as well. For the ones that don't know who Ret is, I made a small presentation of him on a game a while ago. I think it was a game of Ret against Sock. Fairly long game and intense game, because I wanted to show him he's an old BroodWar veteran. He was one of the few veterans to actually move his life and try his luck to play in Korea professionally. He was a pro gamer there back on the days of BroodWar, and then he came back and now he's a member of Team Liquid, and it appears that he's going to be heading off to Korea to try his luck on GSL for Starcraft 2 now. And there it is, KIWIKaKI going for an early expo, really fast expo, especially for a Protoss player. Actually, he's so fast that the Zerg player still didn't took any early hatchery, and it's one of those few situations where you actually see the Protoss player picking up his natural expo faster than the Zerg player. I'm not very used to this, so let's see what kind of build KIWIKaKI is planning for. Okay, he got a forge getting complete, so he might be trying some kind of early pressure like he did on previous events, just placing maybe a couple of photon cannons here on the ramp or something like that, but it appears that Red might be aware of that, and that's the reason why he didn't went for the early hatchery. He rather went for that spawning pool and 4 Zerglings out, poking at that probe, and the probe won't be able to establish any forward pylon with any photon cannons connected to it. And from what I can see, Red is going to be able to thwart this first assault, and it's going to be a failed attempt for KIWIKaKI. Nice around there, and KIWIKaKI failed attempt on the early pressure is gone. Now Red is on the edge, taking the lead, because as you can see, KIWIKaKI established his nexus on the natural expo and his base is running, but he has 0 defenses. He needs to start investing on his defenses pretty soon, or else he's gonna be overwhelmed by Red. And meanwhile, Red taking his time to pick up his hatchery after he fended off that probe. So I think this was all on Red's plan, a very good way of just answering back and shooting back to KIWIKaKI. Now advancing into the mineral line, and seems like that KIWIKaKI has been droning like mad. Let's see the income to compare. Yeah, the income is still fairly similar, but he has a lot more harvesters. Look at the difference already so soon in the game. 23 against 16. Red still poking at those probes on the mineral line of KIWIKaKI, and KIWIKaKI establishing some photon cannons to get some defenses, some static defenses. First unit, the Zealot out. Seems like he's gonna finish up slicing this Zerg, and it's basically over. But meanwhile, Red bought enough time to just start getting roaches, and look at the blue dots advancing on the minimap. He has several roaches advancing into this base. KIWIKaKI will now have to deal with this. I hope he's gonna be able to defend, or this game might be over pretty soon. He's getting a lot of static defenses, a lot of photon cannons. Roaches now with their extended range of 4, might be able to poke at some of these buildings without get the photon cannon reaching them. There it is, as you can see. Red was looking for the sweet spot so he can shoot at them without getting hit, but now the Zealot and the Stalker pulling ahead, poking at those roaches, trying to shove them away, and doesn't seem like this Forge has a nice future ahead of her, does it? They're just getting grinded down with that acidic saliva, almost destroyed. Oh, he's gonna lose his Forge. Boom, Forge down. And now trying to apply the pressure with the roaches, but just 3 photon cannons there, so kinda hard. KIWIKaKI, never mind the forge, he didn't care, he was gonna go for the gateway on the exact same spot. He needs to invest on his build because he risked a lot to stretch himself early on the game and work out of 2 bases so early, and now the payoff will be if he's able to fend off this assault and just balance his economy, gather enough probes in there, he's gonna be guaranteed for the mid and late game. Red trying to advance with a single roach into the main base, try to spot what's going on here. Gateway and gateway going down there, so he's going to be working out of 5 gateways pretty soon. There's another one there on the back along with the cybernetics core. Now KIWIKaKI taking care of the overlord, shoving all of them away. He had a lot of overlords scouting all of the movements that he was doing, and Red will gonna start losing his sources of information now. There it is, Stalkers coming out for KIWIKaKI. Meanwhile, on Red's side, he's preparing the lair tech, advancing to the second layer of tech, getting the second gas, and the Roach Warren is already down. No defenses whatsoever on his natural expo. He only has this spine crawler here, and that's basically it. Keeping tabs on the Zelnaga watchtower. And I'm hoping that Red might go for something that is usually quite a good decision for Zerg players against Protoss, which is when you get the lair, instead of going for the Spire to get Mutilisks, go for the Hydralisk then. They're effective. I know they're squishy, their HP is just like 80 if I'm not mistaken, it's kinda squishy, they die fast, but if you back them up with some roaches on the front, or with some Zerglings leading the way and getting the first shots, they have such fast DPS, and with the range, the spine grooves, they're so effective. So let's see which way Red will be deciding to go. He's getting an Evo chamber going down there already. Where else is getting built? Not much for now. Getting upgrades for his roaches, glial reconstitution, I'm sorry, which is the speed for his roaches, so he might be investing a lot more on his roaches in the future. Also getting the carapace. Keep in mind that his upgrade will upgrade all the ground units, so it's fairly effective. It will be effective for Zerglings as well. And there it is, one Stalker roaming around, spotted that Red is trying to pick up his third base second expo, so KIWIKaKI is aware of how fast Red is going for his expos, and he might consider making some kind of timing push based on the fact that Red has been investing his minerals into getting that hatchery up. But seems like he's going to answer back with more economy, already sending a single Zergling Red to spot what's going on here, and KIWIKaKI answering back with more economy on his side, getting his own Nexus, his own third base second expo, and both players will be working out of 3 bases pretty soon. Red placing several units strategically placed here. A lot of overlords staying here on this line, making sure that he doesn't get surprised on the back of his base, and now a big bulk of Zerglings advancing into the natural expo of KIWIKaKI. Not sure if they might decide to go instead to that third base, which is still fairly fragile. There it is, Nexus, a single photon cannon going down, and there's a lot of Zerglings getting ready here, maybe to pressure and advance into that third base. Here they go, running into the base. What defenses does Red has here? The photon cannon still not built. Nice round with those Zerglings, and got cancelled. KIWIKaKI just gave up on it, and now a nice force field holding some of those Zerglings and killing all of them, finally defending the place, and seems like that KIWIKaKI will be able to grab hold of his expo there. Meanwhile, Red advancing and preparing a nice mass of roaches and Zerglings to maybe plan an assault on the third base or on the natural expo. I guess we're gonna see it pretty soon. His roaches already has the 1 armor upgrade as well as the Zerglings, and he's been building up his economy. Let's see how things are econ wise. 59 against 61, balanced on the harvested count. The economy is also balanced, fairly similar. Red going straight for those extractors. Will he be investing on units with a lot of gas required? I think we will. Whoa, he's getting the Spire and the Hydralisk Den both at the same time. Pretty impressive. And seems like that KIWIKaKI won't have more of it. He's advancing with a small bulk composed basically, from what I can see, Zealots, 4 Stalkers. Let's see the units. Yeah, 4 Stalkers, 9 Zealots, 8 Sentries, a lot of Sentries there. I guess we're gonna have a lot of force field play. And I was wondering if he would be advancing, but seems like he's just shooting Overlords down, and he actually getting or trying to get Red supply locked. Meanwhile, an advance, a push there with the Zerglings trying to poke at the base, but instantly thwarted with so many photon cannons established there. And here comes the move by KIWIKaKI. I'm gonna take those those HP bars from the top of the unit. It's kind of hard to see things, I'm sorry. When the units start gathering in big clumps, big numbers, it's kind of complicated to actually watch anything. What else is getting built here? Whoa, a lot of gateways going down. 2 more planned there, 2 more there. Here comes face-off with a small group of Zerglings with a big bulk of Stalkers, Zealots and Sentries. There's so many Sentries there. I'm pretty sure they're loaded with energy. Yes, 123 energy on that one. They're going to be able to place a lot of force fields. And here comes bulk of the forces from Ret. Ret has been doing Hydralisks, very good option. Already had the 1 upgrade on the attack, very effective. I also see that he was getting the upgrade of the spine grooves for the range, and now we're gonna have a face-off happening here, it seems. He even placed an overlord there, pooping creep, but got instantly killed. Just no chance there. KIWIKaKI is still not convinced he wants to make the push now. I think he's trying to reinforce even more his units, getting some immortals out. They're very effective against roaches, and now advancing all the way down. Ret with his bulk of his forces leading the way. Nice split there. Oh, he just caught a lot of roaches on that split, and now the Hydralisks trying to spread to get range to shoot the units on the front line. Oh, there's just a lot of Hydralisks held on the back doing nothing. Those force fields have been very well used. More force fields incoming, forcing all those Hydralisks to flank all the way on the left, as you can see. And meanwhile, KIWIKaKI taking care of all the roaches, finally getting a proper line of Hydralisks, and they're just shooting here on the left flank, putting down this mass Stalker army. Whoa, so many units getting ported in, and Ret won't give up. He's just cornering all the units from KIWIKaKI. KIWIKaKI trying to get a nice concave here of Stalkers to get as much DPS as possible. Ret answering back with a nice concave of Hydralisks, and there's reinforcements coming back. You guys can notice all of those blue dots roaming down all the way south, now focusing fire on the buildings on the Natural Expo. Almost all of it is destroyed. Got the robotics facility down there, and now KIWIKaKI trying to advance, this time with a small group of Stalkers. He doesn't have that many at the moment. And now, whoa, nice clump of reinforcements. Look at how nice this line from Ret is. Also beautiful line from KIWIKaKI. They're just spreading their units evenly and so well, so they just can push all the DPS out of here. Look at how fast this Nexus will be going down. Once again, the Stalkers advancing on the back of the Hydralisks, and seems like that Ret might have to consider to split his forces, because KIWIKaKI now is basically playing out of his main base and the third base, and is gathering up all the units on his third base and advancing, while Ret goes up the ramp into his main base. And look at the amount of of warp gates that he has on his main base. Brutal. I don't know, I have any other thing to say. He just has so many warp gates here to port as many units as he seems fit. The problem is now he doesn't have the economy to handle it, to just cope with it. And now staying on the high ground, Ret making a huge line of Hydralisks with backup from roaches there, as you can see. Roaches coming from the back, trying to shove off all those Stalkers, pulling them all back, and the small group of Stalkers left, they just got completely grinded and chewed by LiquidRets, Hydralisks and roaches. And KIWIKaKI GG's out of the match. There was not much for him to do anymore. The loss here was a big blow, and these Hydralisks, they're so nice against gateway units. And you guys see what happens. Look at the upgrades, 2-1. They just went through all of these Stalkers beautifully and melted everything. KIWIKaKI had so many gateways, but well, nothing to do with them, I guess. Not enough economy. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was game 1. I see you all later. Have fun.